Hello, my name's Philip Dearden. I'm the chair of the Department of Geography, University of Victoria, and here I am in front of our beautiful new building. This building houses the third largest number of undergraduates in geography in Canada and the fifth largest graduate program. We have strengths in four main areas: physical geography, human geography, resource management, and in geomatics. In this video, what we're going to do is show you some of the outstanding research that is undertaken in these four areas.
My main research focus is process geomorphology. So essentially I study sediment transport and fluid flow, focusing mainly on beach dune dynamics. One aspect of the research is exploring the role that driftwood or log debris has played on beach dune systems. We're studying that from the perspective of historical air photo interpretation, remote sensing of log debris and estimating the sand storage capacity of that, or on-site experiments where we try and quantify the effect of logging debris on sand transport and airflow and what that means for changing the sediment vegetative coastal systems. There are quite a few of us in the department doing coastal research, so I think geographically we're well positioned to be doing that. UVic also has a pretty strong emphasis on climate change research and climate change impacts on coastal systems via changes in storms and sea level rise. We're doing this kind of research in the department, and integrating that research with our teaching is something that we've been placing a greater emphasis on in the past few years as well. So getting students out into the field or getting graduate students into internships with agencies like Parks Canada.
The geography department in itself is very research oriented, especially in the physical geography section of the department. My research focus is looking at habitat use. I do surveys on the ocean looking for marble murrelets, a species that is threatened both in Canada and the United States. Part of my research also looks at their association with grey whales, so we get to look at the whales while we're out there as well. We also take oceanographic data, so temperature, depth, salinity, and productivity, so we use that for some of the habitat classification. University of Victoria is only one of about 3 in Canada that focuses on marine mammals. You collect your data yourself and you're actually in control of what your master's is going to be.
My research area is within social and development geography, particularly community-based research.
We have a couple of projects. The largest one is actually the Participatory Sustainable Waste Management Project, which is a collaboration with a university in Brazil, where we are helping empower the organized recycling cooperatives. And within the Participatory Sustainable Waste Management Project, we're working with capacity building, social economy, digital inclusion, organic waste collection, and in general improving the quality of life of the recyclers.
For my PhD research, I went to Brazil last year and did a participatory video workshop with recycling cooperatives. And through that workshop, we trained the recyclers to use video cameras, to write storyboards, and we did some community mapping where they went out and filmed their perspectives on some pressing social, economic, environmental issues that they wanted to have some attention to for policy and community outreach. I think it's important to work with them and provide them with a voice. A lot of them don't have a lot of opportunity to actually have dialogue with government or people that are making decisions in their municipality, and I think that the research that we're doing, really working with communities, is giving them that opportunity, and I'm really excited to be involved in that.
We also work locally here in Victoria. We do work with the local binning community.
For example, the Mothers Project, which is shelter on wheels, a convertible cart which can be used as a tent during night and during the day to collect the bins. So most of those projects, they also target public policies.
A third project we're developing with a university in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, where in this project we're helping the local agents to develop a participatory management plan for the fishing resources in that area. It's community-based, so it means that we're involving the community in the research, and that empowers them.
My major area of research is on the development of sustainable ecological aquaculture, or sea systems. We're using the facilities not only within our department, but within other aspects of the community here on campus, including the aquatic facility and the biology department, and we have a field station located on the northwest side of Vancouver Island where we do the actual farm scale research. This type of research is the next step in the evolution of aquaculture, selecting species that can be grown together to offset the nutrient loads generated from the single fed component like a fish. So we're simply putting things like shellfish around it to extract the fine particles generated from the fish, as well as kelps to absorb inorganic nutrients. And our site is one of 2 in Canada that will be the focus of 23 institutions across Canada to look at this in more detail. So we are part of a larger team that will take a critical look at this over the next 5 years. So the importance of the research is that we'll find an environmental solution to some of the issues, but also provide socioeconomic benefits to the industry sector as well.
My main research focus is on conservation. So I have a long-standing interest in the tide conservation, mainly coral reefs, trying to look at the incentives for local communities to protect the coral reefs rather than to blow them up and dynamite them. And also whale sharks. We've done a lot of work on sharks there because sharks are one of the groups that's been most heavily hit by declines in conservation. So I'm also working on projects in Cambodia and China, also which involve conservation and incentives, both related to tigers. And so I'm part of the South China tiger reintroduction team at the invitation of the Chinese government. And how can we put tigers back into the Chinese landscape? So there's those projects in Asia. We've also got some more African projects that I'm involved with, comparisons between protected areas in Ghana and Tanzania and Canadian national parks, and also working in the Comores Islands with traditional fishers. So many projects all over the world, which really characterizes what geographers do.
At the University of Victoria, we have a strong spatial analysis and geomatics group. We have faculty working on GIS, remote sensing, spatial analysis, and cartography. We've done a number of projects looking at mountain pine beetle infestations and trying to better understand the mountain pine beetle dynamics over space and also through time. We also work on a fair number of wildlife studies. So, for instance, we have a number of students who are working on projects related to grizzly bears and trying to understand how grizzly bears use habitat through space and time. We are working right now on mounting depth sounders onto kayaks to collect bathymetric data and looking at how we can actually use those data sets for mapping.
So we use sonar and GPS technologies to take measurements of the near shore terrain. These measurements are taken as points which we can integrate into a GIS and use spatial statistical measures to create a continuous surface representing the nearshore terrain. This is important for soil erosion and sediment transport in coastal environments. It's important for wildlife as well.
The graduate program brings immense resources at UVic because of the intellectual capital and enthusiasm that those students bring. And it's those students that come in here that help all these projects to be undertaken.